All right, so another bad thing that's happened within the past week, to just add on to all the things that I've been dealing with, the clip to my mic just broke. So now I have to hold it like this. So let's get into it. Sombra Piso back once again. What we're going to talk about today really is I think that we can't run away from our truths. A lot of us do, generally, because we're afraid of it. And we're afraid of being vulnerable ultimately, because in order to capture our truths, you have to be vulnerable to receive all of the truth, the whole objective truth, and nothing but the truth. But a lot of us are very, very worried and scared and nervous about what that entails with our current personalities and our mindsets. Or just not even, people don't even think that far. I think they just sort of think about just being vulnerable when they had an opportunity to not be vulnerable and protect themselves. So I'm going to talk about the many, many ways that we sort of try to guard ourselves from the objective reality, which will come either now or later, by the way. This is something I've learned very recently. You can't escape truth. So let's get into it. Recently, I've entered a sort of very, very deep period in my life due to a complete understanding of a reality that I was otherwise hiding from. And it sort of shook up my core, my ideas, my philosophies about everything. And I try to protect myself from it for a very, very long time. Like, for example, just to tell you what happened, for the last 8 months, I've been seeing this girl, and it was great. The whole, in the beginning, it was great, like the first 3-4 months. And then a lot of things changed, and a lot of my behaviors changed along with it. Of course, I like to communicate, so I asked about what was going on with the change, and it was shrugged off by her as if it was nothing, I'm going through things. Just to realize at the end of it all, after I just sort of decided to just talk to her about what I appraised about her personality, I realized a lot about her character, and everything came in an instant. Everything came in a moment. And I realized so much about the type of person that I was dealing with for the last 8 months. Of course, there's no going back. I can't sort of reconcile with her currently, which is better, actually, because I think that there's just a lot of things that I do need to learn. And plus, during the relationship that we had, there was a lot of things I didn't really understand truly. I tried to shield myself from this blow by trying to diversify my attention. I try to speak to other people. I started to try to speak to other women, mainly. And it all worked. It's interesting how life works. I'm going to talk to you about the divine aspect of it, because this dark night of the soul entry that I'm currently in was a long time coming. It was the moment that we started to speak, I was already trapped. That's the long, the tall, the short of it. And so, I try to diversify my attention, but it didn't work at all. I try to speak to other women, and I got plentyfold numbers, right? I'm not a bad-looking guy, and in addition to that, I have many depths, as you guys know, the people that have been following the Sombra Piso channel for a long time. I understand a lot about life, and I have a lot to talk about. And so I think I'm a pretty interesting guy. So I was getting a lot of phone numbers generally, but then they never connected, right? I would text, and then I would get no responses at all. And I thought that this was weird. Of course, it sort of made me think back to the traumatic experience that I had in Hawaii too, which led me down an even darker path to ultimately get to Semen Retention too. For the guys that don't know, I went to Hawaii years ago for some Kingdom Hearts Philharmonic concert, and then I ended up speaking to like 22, 23 girls. I'm not even kidding. And I got a whole bunch of phone numbers and no connects at all. And because I had no control over my sexual energy or my inclination to express myself in a physical way of sex, a physical manner, I eventually spoke to sex workers, and I ended up going down a very, very dark tunnel of getting through that, and just keep constantly revisiting that. That's that. And so with this situation where I was speaking to a lot of women, just generally, because I don't lack confidence, but nothing was actually coming through. I should have already seen that life is for some reason is keeping me with this woman. I did think about it as such for a little bit, but I thought that it meant maybe it's because of destiny. Maybe I'm meant to be with this woman and I'm supposed to leave everything behind and I'm supposed to learn how to just concentrate on one person, which is good. Be vulnerable with one person. But then there was just a lot of things in the situation where the situation with the girl, where it ended up with me just saying, ultimately I wasn't disrespectful. Maybe I was disrespectful of the method because she wanted to have a talk in person. I just wanted to tell her how I felt immediately on text. I could have done that differently, but I ended up just telling her about who she was, right? She likes to avoid all this stuff. There's a lot. I'm not going to air out all this nonsense, but this is ultimately to show that because I did not have any other way to disperse my sexual attention or my actual energy of attention, my mental energy of attention, I was stuck with just this woman. And now, because that was taken away from me because of the actions that I've committed, I am now in a completely vulnerable state in this now dark night of the soul, which is supposed to be a metamorphic action for my character, or metamorphic process for my character. It was all a setup, and there was no escape. No matter how hard I fought to try to escape it, there was nothing I could have done. There's nothing that could have worked out differently. So this is to say that this process, the dark night of the soul, is very, very powerful. And when souls are called to ascend to even further heights, because this is what it really is. I realized how much of my character I needed adjustments for. And by staying with this situation, there was no way I was going to make that change. Semen retention, yes, it's a powerful practice. It can get you strong. It can get you more intelligent and faster, mentally faster, much more spiritually inclined. But it does not allow you to do the necessary work that you need to do to go completely against the proclivities of the self in order to rise to another height. Semen retention can't do that for you. You need the actions of another individual. You need an external impetus. That's the only way for it to happen, because people are going to, by reason of, it's fate, or this is just what I feel comfortable with doing. People are going to continue in the trajectory of thoughts and behaviors that they have been used to doing for years. That also locks in a lot of trauma that has been accumulated from childhood. So, it's events like these that I absolutely hate, but I will come to like and adore, because it makes you incredibly vulnerable to the objective nature of life, the true objective nature that I always yell about on the channel, right? Like, there is a change that a lot of us need, ultimately all of us, right? We need to evolve. This is the reason why we're here. And some of us are just not willing to do that change. This dark night of the soul process, a lot of people knock on the front door of the dark night of the soul. A lot of us go in this room, we begin this process. It's just that we become so afraid of the realities that are brought to stark light that we go back into recurring patterns of comfort and soft behavior, such as we speak to women again. For the men, like for example, for men that knock on the door of the dark night of the soul, when you're confronted with like a couple days or so of the harsh reality that is that dark night of the soul, which is no dopamine rush. There's no interactions of any kind. There's nothing that can placate you. You are just being met with the truth of the whole complete 100% truth of deeds and reality and just how things work. Men will go back to go talking to women. We'll go do drugs. We'll go smoke cigarettes, right? Drink alcohol. Just do anything else. Go to find sex workers, all to try to escape the ultimate truth that the dark night of the soul is trying to teach us, which is the ego needs to not exist to the extent that we have built it up to exist in this reality. And so when that ego is shaved completely down, right, due to the harsh reality, the harsh conveyor belt of the dark night of the soul, then you are going to be open to completely radically changing your personality to something that is completely better and something unforeseen by you in your wildest dreams. That is the reality of the dark night of the soul. And I'm at the beginning. It's the beginning of summer. So it's interesting that I'm in something that's supposed to be representative of the ultimate darkness during the season of ultimate light. I think that's a very interesting juxtaposition. I don't know what it means, but I'm sure I'm going to learn what it means somewhere in the future, sometime in the far future, for sure, because there is, like I said in many of my videos before, everything that is to be in the future, that is to come, is painted in every single present moment. It's just that some of us, and all of us, most of us, just don't have the faculties in order to perceive this phenomena. It's so unfortunate, but it's part of the mystery of life, right? We just have to keep walking and hope we get through. My advice to you guys that are dealing with trying to be vulnerable in any one of your situations is this: you need to open yourselves up. You need to be more vulnerable. Stop putting up shields and force fields or having coping methods and mechanisms in order to deal with the harsh reality, the objective reality that is recurring and will constantly come through in every successive moment. There is no escape. The more you put off what is to come due to shielding your vulnerability, the more that thing is going to come. The more the end of days for yourself is going to come even more and more excruciatingly. And when it is finally on your doorstep and there is no room to escape in, no bunker to hide in, you are going to be met with such a fierceness of objectivity that you will consider things unimaginable. You will think things that are unthinkable. You will have dreams and visions that cannot help you. You will pray and you will not be answered. This is the reality of the dark night of the soul. And I am not in the midst of it, but I am in the midst of it now, but I'm only in the beginning of the length of time that I need to spend here in order to completely shave down what has been developed here. So that's my advice to you guys. That's really it. So guys, if you enjoy that kind of stuff, like, comment, subscribe. As per usual, share the video with some peers, of course. And like I said, I talk about a lot of this stuff on my Patreon account. Join my Patreon. The link is going to be in the description below. I will not stop giving you guys information due to my perceptions and due to my analyses of the aforementioned perceptions, right? Don't ever let this place get you down. There is a reality here that's existed far before us and will exist far after us. And it is called the objective reality. I spoke about it all the time. This objective reality is constant, it's unending, and it's without bending, it is without yielding, without prejudice, without discrimination. And it selects all souls to go through it, to pass through it. We all experience this objective reality and we hide from it because it reveals our innermost secrets. It reveals our innermost truths to ourselves that we have hidden for a very long time, existing in this temporary, transient universe. And so the more we hide from it, the more it sneaks up on us and it comes to us in a very, very sharp, painful fashion until the inevitable day where you have no choice but to face your actions right in front of you. The judge, right? It is not some judge from Final Fantasy 12 with a helm that has a stark command of magic. It is a completely formless individual that has the gravitas of a million suns. And when it touches you, your soul will have no choice but to be transformed. So with that being said, stay radiant, my friends. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Woo!